Hello, hello. Seems to be a bit dark in here. Hello, hello. Is that better? Hi, chat. Hi, Fish Food. Tom, the Last Imperial, Friendly Neighborhood Inquisitor, Eternal Crusader. How's the sound? Are we doing okay with the sound? The thing is bouncing around. Hello, hello, Connor. Well, you're about to get super. What? Hello, hello, Chaos Rich. It sounds okay. The light appears to be okay. I think it's all okay up my end. The sound's good. The sound is good. Should I start a Dark Angels Force with the FOMO box or nah? You should. You should. The Dark Angels are looking good. Those miniatures look very lovely, don't they? With all the custom bits that you can stick on there. And I'm sure that's not the end of the releases for the Dark Angels. I'm certain there's more coming. Hello, Killer Kriegsman. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be asking the difficult questions, but first, a quick roundup. Right, first, someone joined the mug club in the last week. We're up to 37 mugs out there in the wild of the world of terror. 37 of these things. This is to you. You know who you are. Cheers. 37. One of the last week. It's awesome. It's one more than the last week. On that note, by the way, I see streams. I see people doing streams. And they have like membership goals. I don't know how to put it in the screen, like membership goal or something. But I have a membership goal today. It'd be nice to get one new tier 3 channel member. So just pin that. Imagine that it's up there like channel goals 1, like tier 3. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Come and join us on the 13th Fleet. Evening Epic Votan, the Crownless King, the Dagda, Old Norse. Hey everyone. Really appreciate you joining me, and thank you to all my subscribers and members already. It's lovely. Thank you, the members, keeping the lights on and stuff. You gave away your unbuilt Tau because you never build them. Now you want the Kroot. How bad of an idea is that? It's a great idea. Get the Kroot. The Kroot look awesome. Would it be possible I put this on a bowl? Maybe. Bowl. We're going to do the bowl club. I've got notes. Bowl. Put on bowl. There we go. We've hit our membership goal. Dave Meekin, thank you so much. One membership goal. Tier 3. We smashed it in the first. I got Alex's hat. First 4 minutes. Thank you so much, Dave. I appreciate you. Thank you, everyone who's a channel member. Help keep the lights on and everything. You have no idea. You changed my life. Thank you. So we don't have to talk about membership goals anymore because Dave stepped up to the Meekin and he kicked the Meekin out of there. Well done, Dave Meekin. Tier 3. Enjoy those extra videos every single Winter's Wednesday. Tomorrow is a narrative battle report. People keep asking where the 13th are. So I thought I'd answer that question with a battle report. Greetings from France. Hello, France. We did it, everyone. Yes. Here's a difficult question. To print or not to print? Well, that's interesting because there's a difference between printing and printing. Like that, printing 3D bits to add to your stuff. Printing models from third-party suppliers to add some variety to your stuff. That's fine. Printing copies of Games Workshop stuff, I think that's intellectual theft. So that's probably not morally a right thing to do. Thanks, Dave. Yeah, sorted. Love you. Love you too, babe. Thanks. You legend. Soup bowl, please, in the middle, so when you finish you can see the way the world ends. In the middle of the soup bowl. I mean, I'll get the Technomancer on it, my wife. Put it, so not put it on the bowl. You know, the mug club people, or not, you want it in the bowl. This is the way the world. It's a YouTube thing. It's like you get involved with the store, and they do the thing. And in the middle of, I'll find out if the store on the YouTube thing in the middle of bowl does that. We'll do that. Put that there. Hi, Wolfbook Chronicles, which is Stylus. Welcome to the chat. Hi, chat. How are we doing? Are we okay? Are you guys okay? Britain is currently facing a storm after storm after storm. I noticed that, so if you're in Britain, one in the chat. How many people from Britain? And then I noticed that Canada is about 28 feet under snow right now, particularly on the east side, I think. Like the worst snow they've ever had in Canada since the last time they had snow. So what if you're in the UK and drowning right now and you need a snorkel to go to Sainsbury's? And two, if you're from Canadian land, I've got no. Actually, it'd be interesting to see who's from where. Like how many people? One's in the chat if you are from the UK, and two's if you're from anywhere else. How international is this? We've got 1-1 so far. I just want Legion Imperialis, but the local game stores don't carry anything in stock, and everything is out of stock on the web store. Oh my god! I'm so excited for the new Blood Angels Heresy bits. 2 if you're from the rest of the world. 1 if you're in the UK. 1, 2, 2. 2 rest of the world. We've got 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. It's like binary, isn't it? 2, 1. Looks like it's a 1/3 UK, 2/3 anywhere else. I'm really proud of you, chat, actually, to put it in 1s and 2s. No one's put in a 7 yet or something, because last time I've been asking difficult questions like this. A difficult question, which is what we're going to get to this evening. Like, where are you? People put in 78, or what, people put in weird stuff. But 1s and 2s. 2 West Canada. Jack Fletcher in West Canada. How's the weather over there? I hear that it's like Arctic in Canada right now. Or is that just parts of Canada? You live in a really small country, right? Only one time zone? Binary can. I know, like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 0, 1, 0. Hi, Winters. Enjoy the 40k content, but I haven't yet been able to get my head around the rules since I think it's edition. I would appreciate if GW did a noob casual rule set. It would be nice, wouldn't it? This one is quite... maybe Heresy is the game for you if you played in 6th edition, because Heresy is built around the old 7th and earlier rule set. Last Imperial 8. See, I knew someone at some point would put in something not a 1 or 2. 8 for the Holy Annihilator, for Khorne, but I can only count up to 2. Nice, man. Yeah, just got that number of thumbs. It's like number of brain cells is 2. Any more than 2, we're gone. We'll potentially use 3D printed bits on Orc Brutes Megnogs conversion. Exactly, using 3D printed bits on Orc Megnogs and conversions is absolutely good. And using 3D prints as proxies is fine, because you can buy. There's people out there selling STL files that they designed, and you can print out. You can buy the file and print out their stuff, and then you can mix and match it with your Games Workshop stuff. The only downside is if you use proxies, if you go to like a GW tournament, which let's face it is 0.11, 0. They won't allow that. West side of Canada had 50 degrees. Wow, that means you're on fire. So hot. You're so lucky. I thought it was cold over there. Do I have a slightly hot cue for you? Where do you stand on the latest drive for female space breeds? We don't talk about politics. We don't talk about religion. The Discord, the Winters SEO Discord, is decidedly politics and cultural topics and religion free zone. What people stand and what people's views are on certain hot topics is up to them. People come here for entertainment and me to say very silly things. I'm not going to feed the fire. It's just, I don't want to do that. Generally speaking, look, there are male Space Marines right now. There are female Sisters of Silence, which I don't get because surely 50% of all pariahs are male. So there's female sisters, and then there's female, Adeptus Sororitas. There's lots of things in 40k where only one sex is doing one thing, and that's the way it is right now. I kind of like the idea of that, of a general principle. So I said I wouldn't talk about it, but that's my general thing. But having said that, I understand that the world moves on, and I'm digging now. I'm already digging. Hot topic. I'm digging. I don't want to dig. I don't want to add fuel to the fire. I don't want to talk about it in the Discord. I don't want to talk about it at things. I don't want to see in on the phone. People come to 40k to get away from that sort of stuff. So and cultural issues or whatever. So we're not talking about it. I'm not talking about it. We're moving on. So my answer to that question is, I talked about it a little bit, but not much. But what about the imperial truth? That's politics and religion. It's made up politics and religion, like the Chaos Gods and things like that. Game of Thrones got politics and religion, okay? The Shannara Chronicles has got politics and religion in it. That's fine. Escapist politics and religion. We like the escape. We put ourselves in escapist fantasies to escape from the fantasy that we find ourselves in day to day, grinding, doing the grind, ranking up, trying to get to the next level, unlocking the attachment for the gun so you can kill some more terrorists. That's what we do day to day. So to get away from the trials and tribulations of real space, we come into the warp called the internet and hopefully get entertained. That's fair. Sorry if it's a difficult question. It is a very difficult question. I mean, you might as well next ask me, what do I think about vegans? You know, again, hot topic. Veganism. Can you see me? Is my pussy still there? He's still there. He's quite happy. Ah, dear. Where are we? There are just a few things you don't do. Don't buy a friend's car. Don't drink drive. Don't drive. Don't move in with your best friend. And don't mix your hobby with political agendas. There we go. Ike Mike. I think Lost Legions were female. They got tired of the Boy Marines bullshit. Oh dear. Where are we? Enjoyed the 5k game. Was nice to see a large scale battle. I have 15k of walls if you're feeling brave. 15k of walls. Well, Sam Nash has got about 15k of brawls, but thank you. We're going to do another 5k battle report. I'm set up for tomorrow, and it's going to be Russ, Ajax cluster. So after the Prospero, the burning of Prospero, Russ and the walls, the Venriki Felka. Tried to get back to Terra, but it took them a couple of years because the Alpha Legion got in the way and did shenanigans. And as well as fighting with the Alpha Legion, there was a couple of other incidents and accidents that happened along the way with a bunch of other legions as they tried to return to Terra. I don't have any Alpha Legions, so we're going to throw some other traitors at them. And this is the thing. We're doing 5k, and he's bringing a Primarch, and I'm not. And that normally throws things out in Horus heresy. So we'll see how that goes. But one of the questions I ask people before they turn up to do heresy is, are you bringing a Primarch or not? And how many Dreadnoughts have you got? That's all I need to know. Because if you're bringing 6 Dreadnoughts, I need to know. If you're bringing 4 Dreadnoughts, I need to know. If you're bringing a Primarch, I need to know. Because the balance thing, because it can unbalance. And so he's bringing a Primarch and 1 Dreadnought. So I'm going to bring 4 Dreadnoughts. I think that balances it out, I think. I look forward to playing it. It's coming around late though. Normally I like to hit people in before noon, but he's going to get here at 12. So it's going to be a long one, filming a 5k Horus Heresy one. It'll be a few weeks until that one comes out. I've got quite a lot in the bank on the computer at the moment. Been loving the Heresy content. Excited to hear more. Big battles are on the way. Yes, I've got a couple of 3,000 ones in the computer into the clicky box, and we're going to be filming 5,000.1 tomorrow. Las Cannons is a good answer to most Primarch problems. I know. Las Cannons are a good answer to most things. You know, yeah. Stuck in traffic? Las Cannons. Nice answer. Can any Space Marines be disguised as Alpha Legionnaires? Isn't it the other way around? Couldn't Alpha Legionnaires be disguised as any Space Marines? The brutality of Heresy games is awesome. Can you find somebody to play with an agent's army? I don't find people find me. Over 100 people and only 35 likes. Only 35. Smash that like button, people. Smash that like button. Let the Omnissiah know. Let the machine spirits know that there's engagement going on here. Get the engagement up. Apparently it's important. Cheers to the Mug Club. So, yes, where were we? King in the North. I was at King in the North at the weekend. You press ones in the chat if you're at King in the North, actually. Wait, we're engaged. We are engaged, Chris Fraser. Yes. Hi, Dark Angels Chris. Thanks for joining the chat. Press 1 if you were at King in the North. Is anyone there who was at King in the North? That was at the awesome Element Games in Manchester this weekend. See, we've got some 2s, Beer Hammer, 1s. We haven't got to the difficult questions yet, Marcelo Rodriguez. We're asking right now, was anyone at King of the North? It's not a difficult question yet. We'll get there. Where did you finish in the Vegas finals last week? I think I didn't go, but then I played 10 games in a row with the winner of the Vegas finals and won them all, obviously. You just hammered the like. Oh, look at that. The like button. Thanks. Yeah, we went from 30 likes to 60 likes. We doubled our likes in a matter of seconds. You guys are responsive this evening. You've obviously eaten all the Smarties. 69 is not a 1 or a 1, but it's a nice number. Yeah. Hey, everyone. Hey to you, Sindri. So one person in the chat was at Element Games in Manchester. Daniel, did you enjoy it? I certainly enjoyed myself. 96. No, not 96. A 1 or a... You enjoyed your game? I played you. Winter's making the saves and feel no pain is definitely a thing. Daniel, which one were you? I remember Raven Guard, I remember Space Wolves, and I remember Necrons. 3 games, 1,250 points. Element Games in Manchester, who are a sponsor of mine. Under all the videos that you see of me, there's a link to Element Games in Manchester. So if you ever need to buy any of your hobby supplies, please bookmark that link. Go through that link and bookmark it on your phone, bookmark it on all your appliances. And when you buy from them, go through that link and use code WIN13. This is all in the Discord as well. And then you get money off and you get through extra crystals. And then I get extra crystals. They give me some kickback crystals on your purchase. And it allows me to get loads of stuff like the stuff I have around me, which is all Forge World right now, which is why I'm asking difficult questions, because I've got a question about that in a minute. So I'm not going to... But yes, Element, where are we? Why is it called King of the North when Manchester isn't even halfway up the island? I don't know. It's Brap Scallion's idea. I don't know. But looking forward to March of Winters again. Craven, first winter stream I'm catching live. Good entertainment for a trucker. You're a trucker, man. Well done. Convoy. In Vancouver, you have 2 big War Games events of a year. Yeah, MV UK gamers who go to an event almost every weekend. Well, talking about events, March of Winters will be happening this year. It is in October. I think it's October the 6th. It might move, but at the moment it's penciled in for Sunday, October the 6th, I think. It might be the 13th. It might be the 20th. Don't book anything yet. But basically one of the first weekends off in October. If you want to come along and meet me at Element Games in Manchester, that's the next one we're doing. But that's not the next one we're doing, actually. There's going to be a next one. I just spoke to Plant this evening, who is going to be arranging a 2-dayer at Firestorm Games in Cardiff. He has just messaged me back, and he says I can say the things. Hot off the press, like half hour before we went live this evening, there will be a 2-dayer event, Firestorm Games in Cardiff, June the 29th. And the 30th. The idea is 4 2,000-point games. I'll be going to that one. Plant is running it and doing all the important things. I'll be playing. So if you come along, and it'll be like 2 2,000-point games on the Saturday, 2 2,000-point games on the Sunday, and therefore I'll be playing 4 different people. Your opportunity to play me, just as you're the Space Wars guy. Daniel Rigoon said he was the Space Wars guy. Yes. So I should talk about, do you know what other Croup models will come out? If I could, I couldn't tell you because NDA things are NDAs. So I can't say. I got a Lodge medal. Show the cat again. Okay, right. I was going to talk about, he's fine, you see. Look, he's fine. You fine, shitbag? You okay? Yeah? The internet. Say hello to the internet. You're a good boy. Yeah. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. He's getting so loud in his old age, you know. He's like 15, 16 now, and he snores and makes grunting noises every time he rolls over. He's allowed. Anyway, do you like my pussy? Yes or no? I've showed the cat. What was I talking about? Thank you. No problem. And your name is... Salem the cat. Salem the cat. Oh dear. I call my boy Shithead. Yeah, well, his name is P90, but Shithead just rolls naturally off the tongue for some reason. He's like, what do you want? I know, right? What do you want? I was asleep. If it's north of the Thames, it's bloody north. Exactly. What was I talking about? I think I was talking about King of the North. Yes, 1,250-point games. Game summary. First game I played was against Raven Guard. I did talk to a few people at the event, by the way, who had either never played a game of 10th edition or only played a couple of games of 10th edition. And that's the perfect thing about coming to Winter's official games, because they're not really tournaments. Yes, there's 10, 20 people who are fighting out at the top, but it's not like 100. There's a few, select few, and you know who you are. Who every year turn up to try and win the King in the North crown. I say it's a crown, it's more a tiara. And the brothers won it last year and this year. One of them won it last year, the other one won it this year, and they're fighting. They're fine. That's fine. We match them up and let the people who really want to sweat it out at the top end. And but mainly it's an event and a chance for the community to get together. So I really enjoyed playing the Raven Guard fella. I don't remember names or faces. I'm really good with games though. And there was lots of shenanigans going on the flank. So pushed hard up the middle and won that by 1 point. The second game, I played with Daniel, who's in the chat, Space Wolves player. Now, he had 2 dreadnoughts, including Bjorn, and a Land Raider loaded up with Ragnar Lothbrok, and some Blade Guard bodies, and he went up the middle like I did in the previous game. So, but I pulled, I went first, so I went forward to pull him in the middle, knowing that he would probably want to come to the middle, and then I swung hard around the side, and then I consistently made loads of feel no pain saves on my wraiths. What I did is I brought 2 units of wraiths with technomancers, 2 units of the canoptic doomstalkers, 2 units of spiders, and 2 units of scarabs. Can you see? There's a theme there. There's a theme there. And the reason why I brought this list was I thought the race would be enough of a roadblock to anything pretty tough coming through. The Doomsday things can do all the shooting, and then the scarabs and the spiders can score, only that scarabs can't score because they have an OC of 0. But yeah, after making a redunculous number of Feel No Pain saves in Mission 2, I won that one as well by a couple of points. And then I went up against one of the brothers Grimm, on one of the top tables, and I got a bit of a nosebleed and spent the entire game running away from his 2 Catans. He had the Void Dragon and the Nightbringer, and he put them both on one flank. So I put some stuff on that flank to entice them, but then I put everything else on the other flank to try and spin around and do things. At the end of that mission, because I was so cagey, because I moved forward and then he moved back a bit, because there's in the Canoptic Court things, there's a strat like where if someone moves in range of you, you can move back. So I moved forward, he moved back a bit, and then his turn he moved forward, I moved back, and we spent the first 3 turns just dancing around each other. And then at the end of the game I hadn't killed anything, and he'd killed about 2 or 3 units of mine, 4 or 5 units. He killed a bunch of stuff, and but it was a lovely game, lovely 3 games. King of the North, pleased to meet you all there. Rates are great. Poor Canis, yes they were. Yes. Yes. Where are we? Hi chat. So that's what happened to King of the North. Brap, thank you very much to Brap Scallion for running that, and for Sultan from Sultan Plays YouTube channel, and for Captain Smashy Pants for helping organize and run the whole thing. Thank you to the guys from Element Games who allow us to come back every year, despite the atrocious behavior of people running around naked with Nutella slathered from head to toe. That happens in the evenings after 9. And thank you to everyone who turned up. It was lovely to meet you all. We've got ideas. Like I said, the next one, Winter's event, is 29th, 30th, Firestorm. And then the next one is like either the first Sunday or the second Sunday of October. And if you want to come to March of Winters, last time we caught a cat. Cat catcher was one of the missions. The next time we're going to do cat herder. We're going to herd cats, not just catch cats, and throw squigs at each other. So if that's the kind of tournament that you would like to go to, narrative, fun, competitive, silly missions where you're literally throwing exploding squigs at each other, then stay tuned for March. I don't know when it's January, right? And October is I don't know why I'm talking about it this early. It's months away. Which Firestorm? Cardiff or Swindon? Cardiff, the big one in Cardiff, the original one. Yeah. Tournament. I'll grab my monolith. No. It's not a tournament. It's going to be fun stuff. It's always fun. It's I think at the March of Winters event, the prize giveaway for the last place player was bigger than the prize giveaway for the first place player. And there was a prize giveaway for best painted army, a prize which was absolutely gorgeous. You saw it on the channel. That was the, did anyone, hands up in the chat, ones in the chat, if you saw the Howling Griffins fight versus the Orcs? Morty and John's absolutely gorgeous Howling Griffins. Did anyone watch that? That was a good one. And it was a best painted army there, but also prize support for the best army, as in the one with the most conversions. One person saw it. Brilliant. 2 people saw it. And then best army, the one that would be gorgeous to see on, and that was from Winter Wizard, with all these conversions and all these flowers coming out. He had like a demonic army, half demonic and half Indo-Death Deep. No, it was Age of Sigmar stuff, like the Wood Elves stuff. Okay, a few people saw it. Nice. It was a beautifully converted army anyway. Is it allowed to push things off the table if it's cat themed? Actually, that's a good idea. Make rules around pushing things off the table. The Howling Griffins were cool. The Howling Griffins were very cool. So Beer Element Games after 9 for the good stuff? Yes. Yes. For running around naked, pasted head to toe in jars and Nutella? Yes. For naked twister competitions? Yes. After 9 o'clock, it's when things turn dark. Ah, dear. Where are we? Does SEO accept kit bash homebrew armies? If you mean on the channel, if you've watched any narrative, if you've watched, yes, I mean, there's been many kit bashed homebrew armies that have appeared on this thing, I think. All the things, will it be, someone asked up there, what the events, will there be 30k or 40k? They're all 40k. The 30k events, so marchofwar.co.uk is all, there's one in February, and he's doing another one in the summer and another one in the thing. You can get access to the 30k events either by joining the March of War Discord or by joining my Discord by becoming a member, tier 2 and above. And then you'll get access to all the announcements to all the 30k stuff as well. Beer is delicious. Ah, dear. So that's the roundup, the wrap up of the weekend. King of the North. It was lovely. Had a couple of people who turned up in the chat. Thanks for being there. I had 3 lovely games. I didn't get drunk that weekend. I'm getting older now. I'm trying to look after myself. You know what I mean? And Alan P, thank you for your 10 months. 10 months, baby. At tier 3. You legend. Oh, there's a button I can press. Wonder what it does. Better not waste it by typing something here inane and pointless. I don't think that was inane and pointless. You got 10 months. Yeah. That wasn't an inane and pointless. That is perfect. That is very, very 13th Fleet of you. Is there a HH Army Builder app? By JR. Is there a HH Army Builder app? Anyone? Does anyone know the answer to that question? I'll show you my HH Army Builder app. That's my HH Army Builder app. Vice versa. Hey, Winters, one of the Royal Brothers here. Wow. We've got some of the Royal Brothers here. The Brothers Grimm from King of the North. Nice. Nice to see you. Battlescribe is pretty good. Battlescribe does the job for heresy. Patent it. What, these? Where can you buy these from? Yeah, I sell. You can PayPal me £1,000 to winters40k@gmail.com, and I will send you a pen and paper. Yeah, that's where you can get them from. You can't get notebooks exactly like this and a pen anywhere else except for all the other places you can get them. £1,000 only. winters40k@gmail.com. Old school app, that Winters. I know, right? It's just, I like flipping through the book and writing the stuff down and scribbling out the thing and doing the other thing. And Demogorgon has been a member for 12 months. I wonder what this button does. Ooh, love the 40k batter ups. Thank you, Demogorgon. Yes, there's buttons you can press if you've been a 10-month member or a 12-month member, and it comes up on the thing to say, yes, thanks for pressing the buttons and thank you for being a member for so long. Wow, what colour pen? Wow. What colour pen? You can have any colour you want as long as it's black. Name that guy. Anyone? Let's check the IQ of the chat. Does the IQ know that quote? I'm sure someone does. Any colour you want as long as it's black. So there you go, Jack Fletcher. Check out Henry Ford. Straight away. Bam. Henry Ford. No, the last Imperial. Hush. Battle Scribe. No, not Battle Scribe. Chris Fraser. All these buttons. Member for 14 months. Everyone's pressing all the buttons. Stop pressing all the buttons. Stop. Things will break. When I press all the buttons, stuff stops working. It's probably a good idea if we stop pressing buttons about now. 2. Oh dear. Is it available in... Crazy Kill Switch member for 9 months button. Just literally button in the chat. Okay, keep pressing the buttons. You're doing fine. I mean, when I press the buttons, I break stuff. When you guys press the button, you say hilarious things. So keep it going. Oh dear. Killer Creasman was surprised this morning going to work in a gale force wind. I know, right? It is raining out there. It's storm after storm after storm. Winter Scribe. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like Winter Scribe instead of Battle Scribe. Vice versa, I want to ask, when I played you on Saturday, you had the Doomstalkers chilling in the backline plonking away at my Khotans. Any other good backline Necron unit recommendations? Well, the Doomstalkers are really good in the Canoptic Court because they re-roll all hits. And they hit on 5s on Overwatch. And hitting on 5s on Overwatch, re-rolling all hits is really good. And they're only 130, 140 points. The problem with them is they're damage 3 and there's a lot of damage 1 reduction in the game. So that damage 3 can drop down to damage 2 quite quickly. I'm looking at Deathwing Knights in particular now because they're going to be all over the place. Now they're hot and Redemptor Dreadnought, stuff like that. There is obviously the Doomsday Arc, which is a damage 4 gun. And if that stays still, that will hit on 2s. You're not going to get the reroll hit, and it's more expensive. But it is 1 pip tougher with a few more wounds. But in the Canoptic Court, the Canoptic Doomstalkers are clearly the better thing. Apart from that, no for Necrons. Necrons really, they want to move. The Annihilation Barges, the Lords, the things, they want to move. So you've really got a couple of options there, and that's the couple of... Baggiest Bilbo, member for 4 months. Thank you so much for being a member for 4 months. Might be a long shot. Anyone in here, obviously yourself, going to Warhammer World Apocalypse Heresy event in March. I'm not going to the Warhammer World Apocalypse Heresy event in March, but the Baggiest Bilbo wants to know, is anyone, hands up in the chat if you're going to the Warhammer World Apocalypse Heresy event in March. Velcro or buttons? Velcro buttons. Velcro or buttons? That's a difficult question. Shall I write that one down for... I've got a list of difficult questions. We haven't even got to the difficult questions yet. I'm going to add that because that is a difficult question. Velcro or buttons? We need to find the answer to that. Deathwing Knights will only be on people's shelves in the Reddit Doomsday. Okay. Reddit. Don't listen to Reddit. What do you think of the Return of the Lion will do to the Dark Angels? Well, nothing at this time because, fortunately for us, the Codex writers... Look, the Codex writers, the people who write the codexes, are lovely people. They work very hard for Games Workshop, but they're not New York Times top 10 bestseller writers like ADB or Guy Haley or Dan Abnett or people like that. Unfortunately, in the new Dark Angels Codex, they don't move the narrative on at all. They leave the narrative for the Lion about where he is, which you can find out about in The Lion, Son of the Forest book, which is actually a really good Black Library book. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10, would bang. So they haven't moved it forward with the codex. And I like the idea that they're leaving the novelists, the people who write lore and novels, to write the lore and move the lore on. So there's lots of things they can go, lots of directions they can go with. But I think we're waiting for the end of the Horus Heresy first and the return of the Yellow King before we start getting our answers. And Vice Versa has been a member for 6 months. There's many, many members in the chat. Sorry for almost cheating with the dev wounds. Thanks for clearing it up. No, yes. So, no, you were right, sort of. So, Custodes get a feel no pain to mortal wounds. So Custodes no longer get a feel no pain to devastating wounds, because devastating wounds are no longer mortal wounds. So you were half right, because devastating wounds are the whole thing now. Beforehand... because you replace, because of the FAQ, so devastating wounds have been changed in the FAQ. Beforehand, if you look in the main rulebook, it says devastating wounds do this, which is basically cause mortal wounds. So we know mortal wounds spill over. That's what devastating wounds cause mortals. Since the fact, devastating wounds are their own, Games Workshop rules right in here, simplified, not simple, are their own wounds. And the devastating wounds do the devastating wounds bit. So if you have a feel no pain to mortal wounds, you no longer get a feel no pain to devastating wounds, because devastating wounds are no longer mortal wounds. However, if you just have a feel no pain, then you get a save to wounds, mortal wounds, whatever it might be, devastating wounds, So there is a difference there. Thanks to Games Workshop for clearing that one up. That's why my brains went, Eek! When you said the thing that you said. I was like, oh, I need to know, this isn't, something's, So, but we cleared it up in the end. So we got there in the end. Where are we? It's a novel idea. I know, right? It's a novel idea to use the novels to write the law rather than Codex people to write the law. Primaris Dave has been a member for 12 months. Awesome, I've reached a year. Velcro or zip or button. You're complicating the difficult questions or now. Thank you for your 12 months, Primaris Dave. I appreciate you. 12 months, man. You're a year old. You've been around the sun once. A couple more times, you'll start getting dizzy. Complicated AF. I know, right? Yeah, that's where it comes from. Read the wording of your own feel no pain. Some are against everything. Some are against mortals. I know. Yes. Datsun Des, howdy, member for 17th month. Yeah. See, this annoys me, this devastating, the feel no pain for mortal wounds, the feel no pain for this, or a flat feel no pain. I think the game would be simplified, not simple. If feel no pain was just feel no pain, it doesn't matter how the wounds come through. If, say, they didn't have a feel no pain for mortal wounds or a feel no pain for this, say there was just a feel no pain roll. And some people had a 6, some people had a 5. Some awesome people, like Primarchs, for example, could have a 4. There's just a feel no pain roll, and you get it all the time. A base save under a save. Nice, simple mechanic, but you can go 6, 5, 4. You can play with it if you want to. In the same respect, I don't think there should be devastating wounds either. I think they should take that out, because devastating wounds, once you wound, you take wounds, no armor saves, no invulnerable saves allowed. You just take wounds, but they've got another mechanic which also auto forces wounds that you can't save against from your armor or your invuln, and they're called mortal wounds. So they've got a couple of mechanics that overrule your ability to take armor saves or invulnerable saves against devastating or mortals, and they've got a couple of mechanics for feeling of the pains. They could get rid of all of that. And what we could have is use the mortal wounds properly, so that some things do mortal wounds, some things don't do mortal wounds. Getting hit by a las cannon, for example, instead of doing d6 plus 1 damage, imagine if the las cannons, when las cannons hit you, they always do d6 plus 1 mortal wound. And you get shot at by a land raider with 4 las cannons, and all of them hit, they would do 4d6 plus 4 mortal wounds, because 1 more. You know, imagine if they had that. Or a Wraith Knight shooting its big things, instead of it doing devastatings on 6s, say it did 2d6 plus 1 mortal wounds damage, or 2d6 plus 2 mortal wounds damage, or the Rupture Cannon on a Tyrannofex, which does 2d6 damage, which is swingy as all hell, by the way. The number of times I've shot stuff and killed it in one turn, and the number of times I've shot stuff and did nothing is highly annoying. So imagine if that did... instead of 2d6, what's a better thing? Say it did 3d3 damage plus 3 mortal wounds when it shoots. Bam! That would be nice. Get rid of the devastating wounds mechanic. Just use mortal wounds properly. Tidy up the feel no pain mechanic. I've been thinking about making a video. I've been thinking about making lots of videos. Thinking about making a video about what I want to see, what they could do to improve this edition. The reason why I haven't really made it is because Games Workshop do what they want. They do what they want. They do what they want. It's Games Workshop. They do what they want. How about more DACA? Nice. Where are we? Give my Unification Wars offshoot. More DACA is always better. Yes. Sean Fisher. Winters, help! You're asking the wrong person. I am not here for help. I'm mainly here for moral support. Should I spend an hour in the kitchen cooking an overly complicated meal, or should I order takeout and use the delivery time to paint more guardsmen? B. She's using girlfriend face. Order her favourite takeout. Say, hey, don't worry, I've got dinner, no problem. I'll sort it out. If she actually, no, 1 minute, whoa, she's using the girlfriend face on you. You're already there, bro. There's nothing is saving you apart from get your ass off, turn off the stream, go down to the kitchen, get to work, bro. You gotta put the time in. Hashtag time in. Get cooking. Get in the kitchen. If she's already using the girlfriend face on you, you're already in trouble. Yeah. Wraith doing Mortals was why Devastating Wounds were changed. Damage spilling over was brutal. I know, but Wraith doing Mortals was why Devastating... Yeah, but the thing is, on Devastating Wounds on 6s to wound, all the wounds became mortal wounds, which is stupid, because you could do 10... You could shoot with that gun and shoot that gun, and you could do 20 mortal wounds to a unit, because you got a 6, and then you rolled the damage and da-da-da. What if it wasn't 6s to wound, do more Devastating Wounds? Get rid of that mechanic. 6s to wound. No. Instead, on the mechanic, make the Wraith Knight do D6 plus 2 mortal wounds every time it shoots. You don't have to roll a 6 or anything. You don't have to roll an X to wound. It just does that. Get rid of the 6 to wound, do Devastating Wounds thing. If you want to make weapons more devastating, like an assault cannon. Assault does... Assault cannons and onslaught Gatling cannons on 6s to wound, they do Devastating Wounds. Why didn't they just have 6 shots, hitting on 3s, strength 6, AP dash, damage 1, plus 1 mortal wound at the end? So you always do, you could get 6 wounds or 1 wound plus 1 mortal wound at the end. It just, there's a mechanic there, which they have, and it's called mortal wounds, to make a weapon feel a bit more deadly than it is, without a little bit more deadly, like add 1, add 2 mortal wounds. Instead of add 20 mortal wounds, it's sort of the scale, they didn't think it through, right? They didn't think it through. Just turn Devastating Wounds into Old World's Armor Bane. Then you make everything with big damage like that good against everything. I'm talking about 1 or 2 mortal wounds, a couple of mortal wounds at the end, like a multi-melter. How many, a multi-melter. That plus 2 at the end. Say when a multi-melter hits you, that plus 2 was plus 2 mortal wounds at the end. There's a problem with Devastate. I'm not saying I've got the solutions. You mean it would do D6 plus 3 if they didn't save, or 3 damage on a save. So you got to roll the wound, and if you wound, it would do D6 plus 3 mortal wounds. That's how much damage it would do. Yes? Does that make sense? I'm not saying it's a good idea. Okay, let's row back a bit. There is a problem with Devastating Wounds, and it needs fixing. I think Wraith for all the rules guy donation. Thank you. You legend. First donation. Cheers. Cheers from me and the rest of the... Thank you. You found another button. This one has a weird symbol and a number next to it, and it appears that that number is £5. Thank you, Wraith Rider Rules Guy. Thank you. And it's got a number 1 as well. £5, 1 and a lot. You're a legend. Thank you so much. Every little helps. I appreciate you. There's a click. Look. I'm going to click that. I didn't do anything. On YouTube, below that, it said, let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. So it's your first super, so thank you so much. So I clicked on that, and then nothing happened. Didn't see your Dark Angels Codex review. I don't do supplement reviews. I did a couple way back in the day, but also the stuff from Games Workshop for the Deathwing Assault box, which no one can get, turned up quite late from Games Workshop. And I went to King of the North. If you could create your own missions for Games Workshop, what would it be and what would the rules be? They would be like the 6 previous missions that we had in 9th edition, 8th edition, 7th edition. That you need base missions like the Relic, like Big Guns Never Tire, like the Scouring, like Capture and Control. You need 6 base missions in the main rulebook. I did a video on it right at the start of 10th edition. It really, really, really annoys me that there is one mission in the Leviathan book. For casual, it's like, here's how you play 40k, 1. And then if you want to play anything else, you have to A, either make it up yourself, or B, get the Leviathan mission deck. There shouldn't be 1 in there. New people coming into the hobby should open the main rulebook, read all the rules, and see at least 6 missions at the back that they can play. Timmy and Bobby can play together a number of times before they start getting into all the other things. Buttons everywhere. The last Imperial £2 £2 donation. $2. Don't know where that. Thank you for pressing some more buttons. And £2, 2 packets of Fox's custard creams. I love you. The double ones, not the single ones, obviously. Fate, first super chat. If I click it, then I can spend more money for another. What? With the Heresy series ending and the campaign books choosing later and later battlefields, do you think we'll see the Scouring soon? I wouldn't expect to see the Scouring soon. I would expect to see more books in the Heresy first. So when the Solar War ends, I would expect to see more books in and around the Heresy, like the Fall of Caliban. I'd expect to see the Iron Cage. I'd expect to see, and some. There's other things that you can do before you do the Scouring. The Scouring lasted for a very, very long time as well. And it's a counter crusade. So it's not like the Heresy ended and wow, off they went on the Scouring. It's like the Heresy ended. Then they spent a lot of time rebuilding and putting out the fires. The galaxy is in flames. It took quite a while to put the flames down. So the battles continued throughout the galaxy for what I must imagine is like another 100 odd years, putting all the flames down before they launched their counter crusade, the Scouring, to push them back. And and the Scouring is supposed to have gone on for like 500 years or something, a long period of time. So there's a lot of epilogues that you can do with the Horus Heresy first. Mad Larking, welcome back. I remember you from the last one. The reason why I remember Mad Larking from the last one is because now I'm up to book 3 on Audible on Gaunt's Ghosts. I am, and thank you for your 2 months. All the buttons. What's your first Old World Army? My first Old World Army back in the day was Skeletons. That's over 30 years ago. Thank you for your 2 months membership. Really appreciate you. Yeah. What was I saying? Yeah, I'm up to book 3. Gaunt's Ghost. I've read them so many times. It's so nice to listen to them on Audible. And I tell you what, Verve and Hive is book 3 of Gaunt's Ghosts is one of the best stories about a hive war I've ever read in 40k. It is so good. And maybe I really appreciate it that much because it's just nice to, because it isn't until book 3 that I'm reintroduced to Gol Kalia, Tonya Crid, Bandau, and people like that. And it's so nice to see them back before all the horrible things that happens later on in the Gaunt's Ghost series. Because, spoilers, if you do read Gaunt's Ghosts, they are just guardsmen in the 41st millennium, and horrible things happen to them because they're guardsmen and women in the 41st millennium. Liam T has been a member for 11 months. Is there an expected date or even points value for the narrative event? Wanted to try and go with my Necron Destroyer army this year if it's on again. So the 4 2,000 point games at Farstorm Games in Cardiff on the 29th and the 30th, they're going to be 4 2,000 point games. 2 on one day, 2 on the other. March of Winters, which will be the weekend, one of the weekends in October, early October. Last year, the points was like 1,100 or so. It's probably going to be like 1,11111. It's probably going to be 1,000. My 11th birthday. It's going to be 1,111. That's how many points it is. I'm sticking to it. I've just made it up. That's the points. 1,11111. Because I like the 1s and 2s. I can count that high. Does that help? That's how many points. See if Battlescribe handles that. That's what I want to know. Dear, it's a good war story in general. I know, right? Gaunt's Ghost is smashing. Love the whole series. Need to listen to it now. I know. Need to listen to it now. Read it tons of times. Me too, man. The first trilogy or 2, I must have read 6, 7, 8, and then the last section of books, which has only recently came out, I read only 2 or 3 times. But listening to it on Audible for the first time, man, I like the stories in between the stories. And Simply Warhammer Handy is in the house. He's gifted a membership. Thank you. Thank you, Simply Warhammer. Check out Simply Warhammer on YouTube. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Let's give Simply Warhammer a warm round of applause, chat. Can we do that? Warm round of applause for Simply Warhammer. That would be nice. Maybe. I had a membership goal of 1 this evening, and we've achieved it. We've gone to 2 now. I have doubled my membership goal of the evening because of you, Simply Warhammer Andy. I appreciate you. The real deal. Came in here late, but just love watching your games. Thanks. Only 40k player I watch. Thanks. Love all the models and board setups. Thanks. Awesome. Awesome the you. Apart from that, still haven't a clue how to play. Welcome to the club. See, we have one round of applause from AAA. Thank you, AAA. And Jack Fletcher says applause as well. Thank you for being so responsive, chat. Thanks. And we got some more applause. Will they put Xenos and Heresy? Maybe in a decade. Maybe. It would be fun to play Necrons. The Necrons will not appear in Heresy. They pushed the thing back for Necrons. They only recently started appearing in the last 1,000 years or so. Really. But at the start of the Necron release, it was like imminent. It was like happening now. So it's like the Tyranids from Tyran. They only recently the Tyranids, Necrons, and Tau only recently got here. The Xenos that they could push back to the Heresy era, obviously, are Orcs, Eldari, things like that. What are they called on the planet Murder, and things like that. You could do them. You could do the Oretian technocracy, stuff like that. No Necrons, no Tyranids. No Necrons, no Tyranids, no capes. Sorry, I zoned out. Yeah, thank you for all you do. No, man, I zone out all the time. The Emperor protects. He does. 2 applause for the Orc logo. Nice. Tell that to Trazen. Well, no, see, so they only just woke up, but the Cryptex have been, like Trazen the Infinite and people like that, have been awake all the way along, and the Praetorians and the Lich Guard have been awake. That they've had some people awake for the last 60 million years guarding the tombs, right? So Trazen the Infinite and Orican the Diviner and people like that. There's been the Necrons have been around, but they're just been security detail, right? They're sitting in the booth at the edge of the car park, doing night shifts, doing the crossword on the back of the newspaper, freezing in the winter, cooking in the summertime. It's a hard job being a security guard for a tomb world. And the pay's terrible as well. But they've been doing it for 60 million years, and there's no retirement option. So I appreciate Trazen the Infinite. Mega Arachnids. There we go. Mega Arachnids. Yeah, so they could do Orcs, they could do Eldar, they could do Mega Arachnids, and things like that. I'd like to play Squats in Horus Heresy. They were definitely around. The Squats were hanging out as well. So, yes, King of the North at the weekend was lovely. I enjoyed that. We've got some more things coming up. I enjoyed that. Hi, chat. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate you all being here. Yes, so today we're on it. We're going to ask about the big questions. I've got some big questions to ask. Big questions to ask. So we'll start off with the easy ones. I think we'll start off with the easy ones. My book reading has been so random. I've got 2. We'll start off with the easy ones. Okay. Before I get onto the game, there's going to be some Games Workshop. There'll be some game. We'll start off with the semi-easy ones because Liam T just asked, "Did you have any favorite reveals from the LVO previews?" So that could, there's a question right there, and the answer to that is I like them both, and the both that are relevant to me are the Kroot Carnivore pack, hunting pack, and the Solar Auxilia box. Both of them were really good. I can see lots of the Solar Auxilia pack box being bought by obviously by Horus Heresy players who want to play the Horus Solar Auxilia in Heresy, which is like playing Heresy on hard mode, but also by lots of 40k guard players who want to buy it so their guard army looks unique and put the Liminarus and I can see that happening quite a bit, which means if there's a lot of 40k players buying it for their guard army, you're going to see a lot of those Arquitus transports that are on the big box and the heavy armored sentinels that are in the big box on eBay. So I can see, but they're both good. Is the Emperor called John and his son called Johnson? Nice. Would Kurz have been the best Warmaster? No. Just paint the Emperor's Chill. I feel the Auxilia will be a huge success. Yeah, I think the Solar Auxilia would. There's a lot of chatter about it. It looks really good. And the Kroot hunting pack looks good. I mean, people, they said in the reveal that there will be a data sheet, detachment where Tau players can field solo Kroot armies. We've been waiting for that for so long now. Since 3rd edition, people have said, why did it? One of the reasons why Tau failed to launch well at the start, it's a very popular army now, by the way. There are a lot of Tau lovers out there and a lot of Tau armies out there. They do really well on the algorithm when they appear on the old YouTubes, on the battle reports. Strangely high. But right at the start, we thought we were going to get Kroot. We thought Kroot were coming. And then they turned the Kroot into the Tau's bitches. And that made a lot of people very upset. And since then, since the 90s, so it's like 30 years now, we've been waiting for Games Workshop to give the Kroot some love. And it turns out that with the data sheet, the detachment, the thing in the Tau Codex, you'll be able to field entire Kroot armies. Now, they'll be terrible if you field just the Kroot, because at the moment from the reveals it doesn't look like I got any anti-tank or any elite or anything. It looks like Horde. But 30 years of hurt finally overturned with the Kroot detachment in the Tau Codex. I think that's what they said exactly. So you can bring morning Stuart. Kroot plastic aspect warriors, more Primarchs. Kroot, I didn't see the comment. Kroot plastic aspect warriors, more Primarchs. I read Kroot plastic aspect warriors. Kroot plastic aspect warriors. Kroot aspect warriors. The Kroot look really good. And I can see a lot of Tau players getting Kroot in their force to use them as bubble wrap and to use them as cheap scoring options in their army. And maybe some of the riding guys will have a bit of teeth to them. But I imagine you're going to want like 60 or 80. The Endless Horde Tyrannid thing does quite well in 40k, as flooding the board with lots of scoring options has always been a thing, no matter what edition of 40k you're in. If someone comes along with 100 or 1,000 scoring things with an OC of 2, I don't care how killy your army is, that they're scoring all the primaries and they can do that. It's a thing. And I imagine the Kroot detachment, it might give them some teeth, but bringing a lot of Kroot will feel a bit like that. I think. Hey, hi Sullivan Gilbert. Thanks for joining. Hi, how you doing? You all right? Coming next, Kroot Primaris. That would be great. Kroot Carnivores. They do like the tasty taste. The Kroot look really good. I like the Kroot. I like the Solar Auxilia. And I can see, see this list actually, what I was talking about earlier, like this is my battle scribe. This is me trying to work out a 3,000 point Solar Auxilia list for Horus Heresy, which is kind of tricky because it's, if you play Horus Heresy, you know that playing Solar Auxilia and Mechanicum is playing Heresy on hard mode. Just like playing any of the legions against Custodes. Custodes are... This is how it should be. That's one of the reasons why, like the Heresy rule set, it is deliberately unbalanced. An entire guard rifle detachment of 20 guardsmen can be swept by one tactical marine, and that's how it should be sometimes. And charging in a tactical squad against one custody, well, a unit of 3 custodies, can be a bad idea, and that's how it should be. It's got this deliberate imbalance in it. You can shoot a bolt gun at the side of a land raider all you want, but there's nothing. Your damage capacity is 0, whereas if you fire bolt guns at land raiders on 40k, you can hurt it. So there's a deliberate... They've written the rules with the narrative in mind, and I like that about it. So writing a Solar Auxilia list without just filling it full of Plasma Cutioners and Plasma Vets like 7th edition earlier guard is kind of hard. But spoilers, if you're looking at getting a Solar Auxilia army in the future, here's the thing, someone pin this, because hey, the comment where he talked the Solar Auxilia list, what do I need now? Solar Auxilia are coming for Horus heresy. Bear in mind that this is 4 hours of work with Alex SEO last night while we were sat here talking about it. A strong Solar Auxilia list in Horus heresy is this: bring as many las cannons as you can. Now, if you brought as many las cannons as you can, like an Armistos with a 10-man squad of las cannon heavy weapon teams for a legion, you feel a bit dirty, particularly if you bring 2 Armistos or 2 Masters of Signals with 20. You feel a little bit dirty. In the guard, don't feel dirty. You're going to need them because you don't have any anti-dreadnought. You don't have any anti-Primarch. You don't have any anti... your las cannons are going to be the way. So on all your Leman Russes, on all your Malcadors, wherever you can get a las cannon, stuck a las cannon. And then the other thing you're going to need is as much plasma as you can get your hands on, because killing infantry you're going to be fine with. The guard is going to have a lot of guns, a lot of artilleries, a lot of AP3. Tactical, all the infantry and all the mechanicum and all the little things in Horus, you're going to kill that just fine. It's the elites that you're going to struggle against, because you're not, and you don't want to fight. I mean, the Ogrins might prove a bit of a roadblock sometimes against other tough units, but if you put them against a tough unit, you're just gonna melt through them. They're gonna be gone. So yeah, they are. I mean, they're leadership 6, but they've got a rule where if you kill one, if they fail their leadership test, then one just dies, and the remaining ones just get an extra attack. So it's like a quasi fearless things. So the Ogrins, if they lose the fight, you can't be swept. Just more die, and the ones left over get more angry and get stuck. But against a proper elite thing like a Primarch or Grave Warden Terminators or Red Butchers or anything along that ilk, they're just good. So you need your las cannons, you need the plasma everywhere. So plasma cutioners are a thing, plasma vets are a thing, plasma command squads are a thing. You can add mechanicum to them, bring knights. It's quite restricted when you think about how am I going to use this army against Space Marines. There's lots of fluffy narrative things in there, though, for nice rounded lists. And of course, there's always the age-old thing that you can do, which is instead of killy, go horde. I'm just going to bring lots of artillery, lots of tanks, lots of rapier carriers, and put 200 bodies in front of you. And then we get back to the endless horde thing. We get back to the Kroot thing. And this has always been a tactic in 40k heresy and in Sigma, I imagine. It's just fill the board with numbers. And that's a quantity has a quality all of its own. Vespid Empire, rise up. It would be nice. We're not going to get a Vespid today. Just caught a copy of the Heresy rulebook. Never played it, but I'm really keen to start a Raven Guard army. Got to start cheap though, sadly. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Who did I fight the other day? I was fighting a guy the other day, filmed a battle report, and he said his 2 hobbies were golf and 40k. And I asked him which one was more expensive, and he said golf. Like £600 a year just to use a course. Dear. Right, difficult questions. We need to talk about the difficult things. Yeah, more meat for the grinder. The only way the planetary guard repels the armies of chaos is more meat. Exactly. There's always more people. But there's a limited number of tanks and artillery. So it's the people's job to protect the tanks and artillery. Hi, Winters. I have 2 questions. Is there a Summers SEO? No. And why don't we see many people in matchups using their first or even second floors of scenery? Why don't we see many people in matchups using the first or even second floors of scenery? Mainly because you have to climb up there and then climb down again. I'd need to get the infantry for Solar, as I've already got the tanks. Yes, but have you got the pretty tanks? The new tanks look prettier than the... I mean, you've got the Leman Russ, but have you got the pretty Leman Russ? What's your opinion on 10th edition compared with 9th or the other ones? 10th is easier to play than 9th edition, but 10th is more competitive than 9th edition. There's less balance in 10th. So in every edition of Warhammer 40k, if you bring a strong list versus a weak list, 9 times out of 10 you'll beat the weak list. But if you bring a strong list versus an average list in most editions of Warhammer 40k, it wasn't an automatic victory, because there was lots of ways an average list could beat a stronger list, either because of the mission, because of Maelstrom, or because of other shenanigans you could do with a middling list. In 10th edition, that's gone. If you bring a strong list versus a middle list, the strong list will win 9 times out of 10. And that's because the game is so much tighter. It's tight. Okay? Tight. Like tight. Like a tight thing. A thing that's tight. Like legs in tights. Can we at least agree Luther was right versus Lionel Johnson? We can't agree on that, I'm afraid. We cannot agree on that, because I don't think even they agree. Was Luther right versus... See, earlier on, Luther was probably right, but later on, Luther was probably wrong, because it's not one single narrative. At the beginning, I mean, Luther found out about the nuclear bomb on the thing and went, yeah, I'll let it go off and kill him. And then he changed his mind and went, 1 minute, I won't let it go off. I won't let it kill him. And then the Lion said, look, he knows. You, for a moment there, thought you were going to kill me, so you can go and stay on Caliban for the next 110 years. Which is a bit sad that he didn't visit him or send him any postcards for like a century. But for a moment there, Luther wanted to kill him. And the Lion's thing is he's closest to the Emperor. He sees himself as like an Emperor. That's like someone wanted to kill the Emperor. The Emperor would have just mind blasted. It's a complicated story. That's why we like the Horus heresy. It's not A, B, C. It goes all over the place. I love 8th edition before the blow. I know, Old Norse Wanderer. I think the internet has agreed that early 8th edition Warhammer 40k, before the prior Nexus came out, was the best 40k that we've had. Free war gear in 10th is insane. Yeah, it's just the way it is. It's the units cost the units now, so you might as well put all the good stuff from the units on the unit. Basically, Devastators, we're never going to see heavy bolters again. And on tanks and stuff, when it's got an option to put this gun or this gun, you're only going to put the other guns on, not the other guns on. It's all the it's where we are. Whoa, strongly disagree, sir. Luther was usurped. He was a prince among men, sir. A prince. He was a prince. He was a king amongst... Luther would have been the Mozart. He would have been the Einstein. He would have been the Tom Brady of men on Caliban. The greatest of the greats. The GOAT. He just grew up at the same time a Primarch was there. And if he truly was the GOAT, then he should have... At first he did. He acknowledged it. He was like, okay, dude. But there was still a little bit of resentment there, because that means he had a weakness. He wasn't the GOAT. He was a truly, truly great man, but not great enough to get out of the way of his own ego. And the fall of Luther is very, very compelling. I do like... A lot of people don't like the Descent of Angels and the Dark Angels trilogy in amongst the Horus heresy, and it is a tough one to get into the first time you read the Horus heresy, because it is a change of pace, and I found that the first time round as well, but the second and third time round of doing the heresy, it adds the Dark Angels backstory. They've got the most developed backstory of all the other legions, so you get all the meat and potatoes in there, and I do like their backstory. So there you go. And I have got a soft spot for Luther, but he did have a flaw. He did have a bit of Achilles to him, a heel. Do you think the weapons loadouts will get prices again? No. Luther is the core pharaoh that Dark Angels changed my mind. Oh, there's a grenade thrown over the wall there. People in Tea and Crumpets Land acknowledges the GOAT status. Tom Brady is the GOAT, dude. He's the GOAT. Okay? He's the GOAT. And how about them Ravens, eh? I just finished book 2 of Gaunt's Ghosts on audiobook for my first time reading them. Awesome. I'm literally about 2 hours into book 3. You're going to love Verven Hive. It just gets better. This is the thing about Gaunt's Ghosts. The series goes like this as you make your way through it. it just gets better. You're going to get to Geron. You're going to get to the Hinsen House, the haunted house at the end of the world. You're going to go to Salvation's Reach. You're going to hit some. Man, I'm so envious. Reading Gaunt's Ghost for the first time is so cool. Just don't get too tied up on too many characters, and take it slow and enjoy the journey, man. Difficult questions. Is Sanguinius overrated? No. There are 3 weapon skill 8s in the Horus heresy rules. And that's Kurz, because he sees the future. That is Sanguinius. And who's the last one? Weapon skill 8. There's 3 of them. No, he's the G. Multi-Meltzer, I have several reasons why you're wrong, but primarily he sought to preserve and protect his people. Life by high virtues, protect the mutant that was the lion, and even accept the BS. We have a bit of a debate going on. That's an interesting question, Chert. If Games Workshop created the perfect 40k rule system, do you think they would burn it down after 2-3 years? Yes. Yes. I think Games Workshop now in their head... Look, when something comes out from Games Workshop, the guys in Games Workshop worked on that a year ago, 6 months ago, 18 months ago. That's old. That's gone. They're already 6 months ahead, 9 months ahead, 18 months ahead, and working on the next thing. And it's so short-termist. Their release for AOS and their release for Warhammer 40k. They don't care what damage they do along the way. They're just interested in selling the next thing, consume the next product. And they don't care what the internet says. Shut up, internet. Just consume the next product. And they've got these tentpole systems, 40k AOS. They've got some that are holding up the rest of the thing. And they just want to churn it out. They're not interested in longevity or making the game system of Warhammer 40k as stable as it could be. Because one, the release cycle for 40k doesn't match stable as it could be. And 2, they are now introducing other game systems which will breed stability for the old school players that stick around for a period. And another reason why is because they've got, by their own figures, by their own emissions, that most people come into the hobby only stay 12 to 18 months and then they're gone. Because most of the whales, most of the people who buy most of the stuff are mums and young kids getting in it. Us in this chat, my demographic is 20 to 120. You guys are old. Some of you are young, but some of you are old, real old. And the ones who stick around, they don't mind. If they're still in 40k, but there's loads of reasons. They're more collectors, and they do a bit of painting, and they do a bit of, but there's the system below now. It's heresy is going to be a more stable system. 40k old world is going to be a more stable system. So bring people in with the tentpole projects. Burn. Next product, consume next product. And if you stick around for longer than 12 to 18 months, well, here's 2 more stable game systems, which we're not going to bugger up too much, and we're going to leave for you old gits. You know, I think that's where what. You're 21. Okay, you're not that old. So, I mean, some of you, my average demographic, shall we check it? I do not believe that mums are in the primary demographic. That is from the painting phase, and that is from Games Workshop's own figures. That mums are the number 1 customer, apparently. That's what you can read. Where is my stuff? Analytics. We'll find out how old you guys are. You ready? Finish the comment. What comment? What was I making? What was I talking about? Audience. Analytics. Age. Age? Okay, you ready for this? My biggest age demographic is 25 to 34. 38% of you are 25 to 34. Second big, that's 38%. 35% are 35 to 44. So 3% difference, 38% to 35% of 25 to 34 from 35 to 44, which means a whopping 70% of you are 25 to 44 years old. Having said that, over 12% of you are over the age of 45, and 10% of you are under the age of 24, and 1% is under the age of 17, and you should be tucked up in bed right now. And 1% is at the age of 65 plus. So we are clearly, mainly middle-aged, falling apart, slightly balding heretics. Now I feel old. Oh God, I'm older than your biggest content consumers. 31. Woohoo! There we are. I'm 29 for 10 years now. Exactly, Salem the cat. You tell them. 29 for 10 years now. 12% represent. Oh, you're one of the old ones. Younglings, the lot of you. Are you the 65% guy? The Badger King is a perpetual. You're not a badger. You're not a perpetual Badger King. I think you might be a squig in disguise. Just wait, Winters. The youngsters will adopt your caps. They'll be trendy soon. Hi, Just Craig. Thanks for jumping in. You know, children. They must be stopped. One day they'll take over the world. They must be stopped. Youngling here, represent the 21s. I remember when I was 35 years old. Now they all seem like kids. I know, right? I think I said it in the last line stream. Do you remember the 90s? Like it was yesterday. The 90s was only a couple of years ago, right? No, it was over 20 years ago now. 45 seems to be right in there. Does anyone in the chat remember the 90s? It felt modern, right? The internet was coming along. We had some good stuff at the cinemas. Lord of the Rings came out. The Matrix came out. All sorts of stuff happened. There weren't any major wars at the time. Lots of little wars. There's always lots of little wars. But yes, 90s was 10 years ago. Thank you, Wraith Rules. Yeah, Wraith Rider. Yes, it was 10 years ago in the 90s. Yes. Not kind 65, but I've been around since Warhame. You graduated high school in the 90s. I regret. I was born in 93, so I barely remember it. It was a good decade. The 90s was a good decade. Apparently the 60s, I mean, I'm not old enough to remember the 60s, but people who remember the 60s say, hey, that was a good one. And the 90s was a good one. So it sounds like every 30 years. So the 60s was a good one. The 90s was a good one. Does that mean the 20s is going to be a good one? So far, the 20s hasn't been great. We've had a pandemic. We've had a massive war in the east of Eastern Europe. Who the hell would have predicted that one? A land war in Europe. And then, we also have Cardi B. Horrible things going on out there. No internet when Mum was on the telephone. Yeah, dial-up telephones. Love the 90s. Joined the army back then. I mean, 20s kind of suck so far. I know. No major wars. Tell that to the people in the Balkans. What, in the 90s? Oh, yeah, there was loads of... I was referring to... Look, there's always been lots of wars. And we did have... Yeah, there was actually in Europe. There was a land war in Europe. Yugoslavia and all that. There was. Anyway, I was watching a YouTube video. What was it? It was only last week. And there's like more wars now. I don't like doing politics and religion and things, but there's more wars now, separate individual wars, than there ever has been, but they're all tiny. But anyway. Dear. Anyone else born in the 90s? Remember 3rd edition as a kid? Mind-blowing. Wait, this isn't the 90s? War. War never changes. The only war we're allowed to talk about is the Grim Dark Future War. That war. Where everyone's at war and everything's burning down. That's fine. I stopped playing 40k before 3rd edition came out. Wraith Rider, you're old. No phone, no internet at the same time. I remember, do you remember the Nokia 420? Indestructible, man. Yugoslavia. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Definitely old. Well, it was called, Serbia, Bosnia, I think it was called, when I grew up, that's what it was called. I'm an 80s child. I used to call my crush in the phone box because my dad just found. Call your crush in the phone box. Do you remember having to remember numbers? Like the only phone number I know now is my own phone number. But you'd have in your brain about 12 numbers. You know, your own phone number, your phone number for your mate. Yeah, or maybe 6. Or maybe my memory actually. I probably knew about 5 or 6 off heart phone numbers. Because you'd ring the phone numbers. But now I don't know. I mean, does anyone know a phone number other than their own phone number? Lackey, Mr. Lackey. That's not the Tactical Brit, is it? Thank you for your donation. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Sorry, Winters, not a sub, but long-time lurker. I think you're one of the most genuine 40k channels out there. I'm 33 and feel nostalgic for the 90s. Oh, Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your donation. It really helps. You're a goddamn hero. And you're 33 and you were born, you feel so, how do you, 33, what is it, 24? So you were like 9. 9? No, 1 minute. 23, but you're like 9 in the 90s. It was nice in the 90s. But where are we? So I only know the last 4 digits of my own. No, you got to know all the 4. You got to know your own phone number. People ask you, hey, what's your phone number? So you can go 07 12 14 30, and you can just tell them, right? Reverse charges. Yeah, man. I remember doing reverse charges. Yeah, man. Yemen is not just a country in Africa. Andy H has been a member for 14 months. Thank you for your 14 months. And he says 70s babies rule. And Andy H, I agree with you. Because being a 70s baby myself. Rookie mistake winners, didn't you have a telephone book next to your landline for recording them? Telephone book next to your landline. Yeah, there was a thing. But sometimes you rang it so many times. Like you rang your mate, Mog. And so it's like, I know Mog's number. 876543. You know, dun, 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 you do it. You smack it. So yeah. 77, you're still a youngling if it was 77, mate. Primaris Dave 71. Oof. That's you old bastard. 71, imagine being that old. Pah. And 77, way too young. 70s babies should get together or go celebrate. As long as our backs aren't hurting too much, we could be home by 9 p.m. Yeah, but the 70s babies don't want to get together. They want to stay at home and they don't want to celebrate. What they want is a nice lie-in and a sandwich. Just a sandwich would be nice. And a nice proper sandwich on some nice bread, cheese, lettuce, tomato, a bit of steak in there. That's all we want. Give us a lovely bit of salt and pepper. Give us a little bit of that and leave us alone and let us go to bed early and let us wake up late. That is a party. You know, when you were younger, like really young, and when you did wrong, you were sent to bed if you did, you know, as a punishment. Now it's a reward. Auxus, welcome to the 13th Tier 3 legend. Thank you for becoming a Tier 3 channel member. I really appreciate that. That is my I had a membership goal this evening of getting 1, and we're up to 3. So I'm triple. I'm triple times. We are triple times. You're triple. Thank you for being. Thank you. The Tier 3 channel members unlocks an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. And tomorrow, people have been asking me what's happened to the 13th. What are they doing now? Tomorrow is a narrative battle report featuring the 13th. And we go to the planet Monthax in the Sabbath Worlds cluster 18 years after the events in the Gaunt's Ghost book, because when I set up the battle report, I was currently in Monthax in my brain. So I'm like, no, I'm going to put the 13th there. We're going to say some of the forces of chaos came back to the Sabbath Worlds and we're trying to get a foothold in again. Let's go back to Monthax. And so that's tomorrow. Sam Nash, thank you for being a member for 24 months. I appreciate you, sir. You're the oldest member so far, but which is ironic because you're also one of the youngest people I know. He's only 12. He says good evening. Good evening, Sam. He's coming round tomorrow to film another 5,000 point game, which we're all set up for next door. I look forward to it. Where are we? I'm 33 and started taking naps. Naps are great. Every time I go on holiday, I like a nap in the afternoon. You get back from lunch, right? Have a couple of gin and tonics and then a little half-hour nap. It's lovely. Last one, another £6 super chat. Thank you, Mr. Lackey. You're not Lackey from the Tactical Brit, are you? Last one. Don't tell Morty and Glory I'm sending you money. But keep up your style in battle reports. They're awesome. Mr. Lackey, I really, really appreciate you. At Element Games in Manchester, I did bump into Morty and Glory. He was leaving as I was coming in and setting up the table and doing, no, I already played a game. And then I just finished the game and I was going to the bar and I got ambushed by a bunch of people asking me questions and talking stuff. So I'm chatting to this person, chatting to that person. And then he came up to me and said, hello, remember me? And I went, No. Because I'm really bad with faces and names. I always have been. I'm horrible. I don't remember this, but I remember things. I remember rules. I remember the front armor facing of a Layman Rust battle tank. I remember games that I've played and places that I've been. I'm a things person, not a people person when it comes to stuff. And so if you are watching this, Morty and Gloria, I deeply apologize for not recognizing you. But when you said, hi, thank you, great to meet you again, blah, blah, blah. I remembered the game. I spoke to you. I said, yes, awesome game. If you want to come back for another battle report at some point, more than welcome to fight you again, because the last game that we had was lovely. But I'm sorry if I didn't recognize you at the time. Also, I was having about 3 other different conversations and I was all over the place. Dear, where are we? But yeah, Morning Glory, lovely guy. Sam Nash is good people. He is good people. He is good people. Can we get an ancient Rylan or banner for the oldies? No. Fight against naps and wearing slippers. What do you mean fight against naps and wearing slippers? Naps are lovely and slippers are great. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 with a bang. Mordian is a great lad. He keeps the guard standard high. He does. He does fly the flag for the guard. And yeah, he's got a lovely community over there as well. They are a rabid community over there. They are very keen. We do like them. Branded slippers when? No branded slippers. No capes. Honestly, I didn't wear slippers forever. This is a true story. And then my feet started to hurt because I'm old. I'm walking around in there, and she bought me slippers like 6 months ago, and I've been wearing them since, and it's nice. Kev3475 has been a member for 15 months. Thank you for your 15 months, Kev. Is this Kev the Cook? If you could buy any one thing from 30k or 40k and come to our present time and reality, who or what would you pick except the Emperor? If you could be any one thing from 30k and 40k and come to the present time, be any one thing and come to the present time, not the Emperor. Be any one thing from 30k or 40k and come to the present time. I think the only possible answer I can give to that is some kind of greater Slaneshi demon, because in the present time they haven't given birth to Slanesh yet. So then in the present time, as a greater Slaneshi demon, I could make my way to the Eye of Terror before it's the Eye of Terror and start rampaging and killing Eldari before even Slanesh was born. I could get ahead of the curve. Kill Eldar. That's probably what I'd be. I started wearing slippers at 40. Yeah, I started wearing slippers at 50. It's I highly recommend. Keeps your feet warm, keeps your back straight. Nice. Where are we? Okay, phones. Right, good. Mr. Lackey, welcome to the 13th Tier 1. I very much appreciate you. Tier 1 gets you the custom images, and thank you for joining the 13th Fleet at Tier 1. Enjoy your custom images and loyalty badges and things like that. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. If you ever want to upgrade that, Tier 2 gets you access to the Discord, and Tier 3 gets you an access to an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. And we're up to 4 members for the evening, and I had a goal of 1. I'm like, that's knocking it out of the park. Thank you. Keeps the cat away from the toes. Yeah, you can't put toes anywhere near a cat. They'll go for them. Right, we are an hour and a half in, and we haven't asked any difficult questions yet. And I wanted to talk about... I'm going to talk about the thing. Like, I've got some more things. I'm really pleased. I got that thing. He's nice. I got that thing. And that thing. Lights, camera, action. And that thing. And that thing. I got a bunch of stuff. from Forge World, which isn't Forge World anymore, despite the packaging saying forgeworld.co.uk. Forge World doesn't exist anymore. What does that mean? What does it all mean? I got the things, right? And then I watched Luton's video yesterday. Has anyone, hands up in the chat if you watched Luton's video? Do you know what I'm talking about? He basically did a video talking about Games Workshop's production issues and how hard it is to get stuff from Games Workshop right now. And being Luton, our Lord and Saviour, the Emperor of Mankind, Luton 09, he did Argotau and Tengalvo back. That's the little allied detachment of Argotau. We're on Isfahan 5 now. We've done Isfahan 3. We've gone to Isfahan 5. That's why he's coming along. Little allied detachment of word bearers. And Argotau's the G-yo. He's got to come. Anyway, so he did a video. Anyone saw the thing? You did see the thing. Anyone saw the... He did a video on where we are with Games Workshop supply issues at the moment, and they've been horrific. And he breaks it down very intelligently because he's an intelligent person. And that got me thinking, like he said, it's bad, but it's like currently Games Workshop doesn't have Necromunda in stock. If you wanted to start playing Necromunda right now, and of its mini games like Necromunda Kill Team, all of those, Necromunda is there's a massive Necromunda community out there. There's billions of them. It's super popular. Warcry is super popular, and Blood Bowl is super popular. If you go onto the interwebs, you will find billions of hours of content about those 3 skirmish level games. Skirmish level games being where you need a squad of 10 or less, or sometimes 20 or less to play a game. Done. They're the big 3. Kill Team is way lower in popularity than Warcry, Necromunda, and Blood Bowl. And if you ever... Anyway, won't get into that, reasons why. But you can't get into Necromunda right now because you can't buy it. And you can't buy Adeptus Titanicus now because you can't buy it. And then I had to scroll through Horus Heresy. Getting these things. I wanted to buy Typhus. Can't get it. I wanted to get 10 Galval back, can't get it. So what I did was I put into my computer, here's the, Games Workshop not being able to manage demands. Yeah, I put in my computer the entire range of the Horus Heresy. When it says filter all, I just put all the Horus Heresy, and there's like 260 options that you can buy from Games Workshop if you wanted to start the Horus Heresy, and half of them are not available. More than half. It does include Titans and Primarchs and things. It's not just the boxes like... like that. And like them. It's not just the plastics. The whole Horus Heresy range, I think it's 249 or 259 or 200... It's somewhere around them. And then I did the math. And it starts going, product not available from 139 or something, 137 or something, somewhere around. So more than 50% of the Horus Heresy range that Games Workshop want you to get, and Necromunda's not available, Adeptus Titanicus. So the question is, the difficult question is, the big question is, what the hell is going on? Games Workshop are trying to sell us these things that we want to buy and failing miserably. They are aware, right, of 3D printing. They are aware of China Cast. They are aware of eBay and scalpers. There's enough videos out there about them. How much money are Games Workshop losing right now? Millions and millions of billions. How much money are they losing right now? At the King of the North event, I spoke to 3 separate people. I spoke to more than 3. I spoke to bunches of people, and I spoke to a good dozen or so people, about 10 or so people who had bought 3D printers recently or in the last few months. But 3 of them specifically said to me, of the dozen that I spoke to about 3D printers, 3 of them specifically said to me that they bought them because, not for bits, or not to add on this thing or to add on that thing, not for proxy stuff, but they bought them specifically because they can't get the products that they want from Games Workshop, so they're going to print them themselves. That's 3 at a 100-player event. Times that across the world, that is millions and millions and millions of revenue. What the hell is going on at Games Workshop? That's the difficult question. Answers in the comment section, please. Answers in the comment section now. Let's debate it. And answers in the comment section if you're watching this afterwards. Why? How? Two questions. How much money is Games Workshop actually losing? And how did it get this bad? 3 questions. And what the hell are they doing? 3rd question. Supply issues. If it's a massive supply issue, then why release the build the factory? They can't keep up with their own demand. Half of the Horus heresy range is not available. Here's the answer to that question. One answer to that question is Horus heresy is a phenomenal success, and they can't even supply more than 50% of that model range because it's a massive success. I would like to say that's what it is, that Horus heresy is such a massive success that they can't keep up and 50% of the range is out. But because they've got so many supply issues with other systems, I suspect it's not as a massive success as I think it might be. I think it's just that they're a bit shit at delivering products. Dave Meakin, thank you for your... I went on a bit of a rant. Dave Meakin, thank you for your donation. I really appreciate you. When is your Raven Guard painting tutorial coming out? That's a really good question. Thank you for your donation. Yeah. So I ordered a couple of boxes of Raven Guard and some basing materials in the same order, and the basing materials haven't turned. So when Element can't supply you with an order, they'll say, 1 minute, we can't supply, it was in the same order, we can't supply you with this order because the basing materials, we're waiting for them from the supplier. Do you want to split the order, is the question they ask, and you can go yes, and they'll send you the bits that they can send you, and they'll hold on to the second bits they can't send you. And I said no, because personally, no rush. And so I'm waiting to get that order of the Raven Guard with all the basing materials that I need. And then when I get the Raven Guard assault backs, then I am going to film a Raven Guard painting tutorial. So I don't know when it's coming out yet. Watch this space. Right, let's read the chat. I don't know how much. They put out so much new games and the production space is split between... Yeah. The marketing hype trade needs to slow down. Yeah, I don't understand why they're launching new things, why not being able to even stock Horus Heresy stuff. It worked fine for years, but recently it's all turned to shit. Their supply director in corporate didn't calculate things right. I know, right? If it's a supply issue, someone said, yeah, we can do that. GW trusted them. They will probably be let go soon. Human error in shot calls is real. Someone said, yeah, we can meet that demand. Okay, let's launch. Let's do that. No, they're not meeting demand. There are main game systems which you can't get. There's more than 50% of a model range you can't get. Can anyone get Deathwing? It's not just the recent stuff and the scalpers when it comes to the End and the Death Volume 3 and the Deathwing Assault and all the recent stuff. Can you buy Basilisks now? They were out of stock for like 3 months. Where are we? 3D printing started to become the name of the game. I want to buy a Land Raider Redeemer, but if GW refuses after a year, I'll turn to other sources. I know how much money are they losing? Once you've got a 3D printer to paint, to make the bits that you need, then that isn't a lost sale from, hey, I'm going to get this. It isn't a lost sale from the thing that you need now. It's a lost next sale and next sale and next sale for that person that now has a 3D printer. You're not just losing sales now when you drive people into 3D printing because you're not supplying them with the products they want. That you're creating the demand, Games Workshop. You're creating the demand for these products. Do you want this miniature? Do you want this miniature? Do you want this game? You're creating the demand for these products. Necromunda, which you can't get. Adeptus Titanicus, which you can't get. 50% of the Horus Heresy range, which you can't get. You are creating the demand for these products and then not supplying the products. So there is X percentage of people buying 3D printers and you're losing millions in sales now, but also millions in sales next month and the month after that and 6 months after that and 2 years after that, because the people who've got 3D printers have now got 3D printers. And when they want to print the thing that you're not supplying them with, they'll print the thing they're not supplying them with. You are losing, it's echoing down the generations, and before you know it, all will be ruined. Something there is going on, and I don't know what it is. That's why I'm asking the difficult questions. What the hell is going on at Games Workshop right now? I can't figure it out. They are driving customers away. Suspect all publicly traded companies. It's all about new and talking about that graphs and yeah. I can't even purchase a 60mm base. An Old World has been out for a minute. A 60mm base. So yeah, you go to third-party suppliers, you 3D print, otherwise that's money for. And if you, yeah. I think the thing isn't a quick problem to solve. We need to keep complex. You see, it's not a quick problem to solve. It's clearly a supply issue, or clearly a marketing issue, or clearly a projection issue. They've had production issues now, however, for years. They built a whole new warehouse next to the airport to hold more stuff in. They should have some kind of Kanban system where this is the bin with X product in, and it's got 100 of X product in, and whenever X product falls below 50%, the Kanban kicks into the Excel spreadsheet to say that you need to fill another X in this bin. And they've timed it. They've got figures to tell how long it gets to zero, so how quickly they need to get that to refill the. They've got figures for They know what they need to do. They just don't know how many customers they're losing. Tabletop Minions, thanks for joining the chat. 3D printers are awesome for this industry, I think. Yeah, Games Workshop use them themselves. But how many customers are they? How many potential customers are they losing and driving people? Anyway, check out Tabletop Minions on YouTube. Hi, Adam. Old World isn't even out in New Zealand until the 13th of February due to low stock. I'm not even sure New Zealand or Australia really exist. They're selling all their stock. There are a few reports of dissatisfaction from people who get hold of it. Sounds like they sell exactly the right number. More than 50% of the Horus heresy model range is not available. They're not selling exactly the right number. They're selling... Well, I see what you mean. If they sell all their stock out by 100%, then they're selling exactly the right number because, hey, I've sold all my stock. I've got 28 pens to sell. I've sold 28 pens. I've sold all my stock. I see what you're saying. But if there are customers who can't get their stock and are getting driven to third parties or 3D printing or proxies, or they're losing customers in perpetuity, not just now, but in the future as well. It's not just even miniatures. I've been unable to buy any heresy dice, and they've been out for months. GW could always start selling STLs. They could. And I imagine there will come a time when Games Workshop do start selling STLs. I imagine there will come a time. Probably the day after they start selling Games Workshop 3D printers. I bought a 3D printer just for Legion Imperialis and Old World. There you go. It's really frustrating to try and give GW my money. I know. Like I said, when I was getting this stuff, we spent over last couple of weeks, I've spent £400 plus pounds on Games Workshop and Forge World products. And I would have spent 600 because I'm starting the Iron Hands thing and trying to finish off the Raven Guard thing. And I got these guys because I'm trying to finish off the Custodes thing. I'm trying to finish off the thing. And I would have sent them a couple of £100, but it's so frustrating trying to give them my money. I don't know. It's very easy to sell out when you don't make enough stock. Exactly, Tabletop Minions. If they don't make enough stock and they sell out easily, then they're just driving customers to other sources permanently. Ravage Star was great. Yeah, Ravage Star, there are other sources, people creating other things. Den of Imagination Painting Studios. Check them out on Patreon. So Den of Imagination Painting Studios, the greatest painting studio in the Soul System. They have a patron, and you can become a monthly patron if you have a 3D printer, any 3D people printers. Anyway, if you've got a printer, become a patron with them, and they've got monthly releases of new stuff. Nothing worse than a drug dealer that has no drugs. Where's my plastic crack? It's so annoying. If you can get to the hobby later and all the cool boxes from your dream army are not sold anymore. I know. People think twice before buying from Games Workshop once they started printing minis. While 3D printing is a solution, it's not perfect, says Just Craig. You can always tell. Playing against internet celebrities, just going to events has swayed me back into buying the models. Yeah, the 3D printing will take a percentage of the money. All things being... That's a whole other thing. I talked about it before. Tabletop Minions. I was kind of thinking about Legion Imperialis, and then it was all sold out during the pre-order, so I decided against it. Exactly, right? Say it wasn't all sold out during the pre-order, and you were thinking about it, and then a week later you were thinking about it, and then a week later you still had the itch, and you're like, and then there you go. You've given Games Workshop 200 quid. They're losing so much money. It's like a drug dealer who gets their clients hooked and then stops carrying enough to meet their demand. Miss MJ. Yeah. I almost never had problems getting GW models I wanted, maybe because I love Titanic units and they're not very playable. So no one wants them except a monolith now. Are the monoliths all sold out? I imagine all the monoliths are all sold out as well because they're doing very well. Are you okay back there? 1 minute. Let's check on the pussy. I could hear him making noises behind me. He's fine. He's just having a shower. So, why can't Games Workshop meet demand? Why can't they? What is the problem? Kitty! Yeah, thank you. Why can't Games Workshop meet demand? They are sold out. Monoliths are sold out. Baneblades, there are tons. You printed a Warhound Titan. Games Slurp. Yeah, he's making a lot of noise behind. Games Workshop will not sell me a Spellblade. Why won't they take my money? Exactly. Do you want to get into Necromunda? You can't. Do you want to get into Adeptus Titanicus? You can't. Do you want a copy of The End of the Death Volume 3 Limited Edition? £500 eBay. Why can't they meet demand? Is it just sheer production issues? But on this scale, when 50% of a range is not available, that is more than just production issues. Half. Imagine if you went to your local Tesco's and it was more than 50% empty. I don't know what you'd call it in America. You know, a big store somewhere, Walmart's. Do you have Costco's? Imagine if you went into Costco in America and more than half of it was empty and you couldn't get your tea and your biscuits anymore. You'd be outraged. Adam Sand, thank you for joining the 13th at Tier 3. I had a membership goal of 1 this evening and we've hit 5. You guys have been legends. I really appreciate you. The Tier 3 gets you an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday, and tomorrow it's a narrative one between the 13th and the Emperor's Children. I heard from some folks at the LVO this weekend that there's a factory issues. Yes, so Games Workshop have put in planning permission to Nottingham City Council to build Factory 4 at the Willow Road site. So they've got 3 plastic injection moulding factories at Willow Road right now, as well as the resin moulding at Willow Road, and they want to build a 4th one. If current facilities cannot keep up with demand, they should stop and let their current production keep up, catch up with what they have right now. But we're getting new Crew, we're getting new Solar Auxilia, we're still getting this new, more Warhammer, more often. And it's just driving people away to third-party stuff, right? It's a big issue. I've been in South America, markets where they're 95% empty. Whoa. On the flip side, Games Workshop's conservative targets will have a lot to do with why when the Leviathan launched, a lot of their production schedule went to that. Yes, yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, all 2 out of 3 of the factories are just printing Leviathan for like 3 weeks solid, bam. And that's why you can still get copies of Leviathan. You walk into a game store somewhere, bam, it's out there. But the other stuff, man, I'm still for melt all the Leviathan boxes and use the material. The plastics that they use cannot be recycled because it's plastic and styrofoam. So they can't melt it down and reuse it. That's a whole other green thing that we won't get into. Fat finger typing. Is that why I can... Well, what did you... What, GW still exists. Perhaps their conservative targets are the reason. No, it's the plastic crack. You know, you need more. You always need more. Anyway, that's one of the difficult questions. In the comment section below, if you're watching this afterwards, why can't they keep up with demand? How many customers are they losing? Percentage of customers. Have you got a 3D printer recently? Because once you've got a 3D printer, you're gone. And we have to ask some more difficult questions because I've been going on for almost 2 hours. So once we've started poking the beast, they've got element gains of 10 plus Leviathan boxes left. So we've got to ask some more difficult questions. Now I've muddied the waters. Now I've got you all irate. I want to know, what is the best cheese? Have you seen that meme going around recently? Like cheese, 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 cheese. What is the best cheese? Hi, Wrath of Constantine. You bought a 3D printer. I produced a lot of Leviathan. Smoked Gouda is delicious. Do you want to go now? What's it? They're going to talk about 40k a bit more, but I want to talk about cheese. Because we're not going to ask... Are you okay? All right then. The only thing I bought from GWLVO this weekend was a Blood Angels t-shirt. Nice. Was any size next year? Nice. It's 30 quid for a t-shirt. Gouda, cheddar, Parmesan, Orcs or many Orcs. Wisconsin extra sharp cheddar, 6 years. Really? Wisconsin extra sharp cheddar. Do they even make proper cheese in America? I understand you get it out of a spray can or something. And that's not cheese, is it? Anything that comes out of a spray can or any food that you can eat out of a bucket doesn't constitute as food in my book. That's a prison sentence right there. Red Leicester, that's a nice one. What are we doing with the cheese, melting it into a burger? Nice, man, though, but a cheeseburger. Come on now. The Americans' culinary influence on the world with the cheeseburger cannot be understated. A proper cheeseburger anywhere in the world is a proper cheeseburger. Cheddar, and it'll never be beaten. Pizza, mozzarella, gorgonzola, any cheese that can be toasted in the double Gloucester. Now you're talking. A double Gloucester's a nice... Wisconsin is the what state? I'll fight you. Dairy state. Wisconsin is the dairy state. Is it? So, okay. I didn't know that about Wisconsin, but then no one else did know that about Wisconsin. No one, except for people who lived in Wisconsin. Here in the UK, there's a place called Birmingham, and some people in Birmingham call it the Jewel of the Midlands. I don't know what kind of jewel they're talking about, but it's not a place that you'd want to go. Some people say all sorts of crazy things, like the dairy state. But unless they're selling a lot of ice cream there, I'm not interested because I love ice cream. Green Bay cheeseheads, nice. Is Green Bay in Wisconsin? Is that the thing? Is that where the Green Bay Packers thing comes from? Isn't Wisconsin's state motto "Eat cheese or die"? That's why the Green Bay Packers wear cheese. Is it really? I didn't know this. Actually, okay, take it all back. I've learned something. I mean, Green Bay are looking good right now. No, they're not. They got beat, didn't they? Did Green Bay get beat by Kansas? It's all sort of blurring into a thing. Or did Kansas get through? Did Green Bay get through? Didn't Green Bay just... My brain at the moment is all over the place. Did Green Bay, Wisconsin. Green Bay is in Wisconsin. Wisconsin is in the holy land of the Midwest and food and hospitality. Didn't very much out of the playoffs. They got beat by the 49ers. That was it. Yes, I knew. Yes, they were looking really good. I mean, I like Love. He's doing well. But the 49ers are strong this year. We're looking at 49ers Ravens, surely, for the Super Bowl. Green Bay lost to San Francisco. Yeah. I switched off when the Bengals didn't make the playoffs. The Bengals were never going to make the playoffs, mate. Birmingham, a jewel. Yeah, the jewel of the Midlands, Birmingham. I mean, they call the Kent the Garden of the UK, but or the Garden County. Again, they clearly haven't been there. I mean, there's a lot of lovely places in the UK, but Kent and Birmingham aren't one of them. Neither is Swindon, where I'm from, by the way. If you do happen to find yourself in Swindon on a windy January, make sure you wear a stab-proof vest and try not to get out of your car. Drive through with the windows locked. As you're passing the bomb sites and things. Wrong hole. Wrong hole. The anus of the Midlands, more like it. Nice. Ah, dear. Not happy Green Bay beat Dallas. No, Green Bay didn't beat Dallas. Dallas beat themselves. Dak Prescott, I don't know what he was smoking the day before, but he threw a bunch of interceptions. And the Dallas defense was atrocious. I mean, Green Bay were just... I'm not sure that Green Bay won. I think Dallas lost. And that's why Green Bay got kicked by the 49ers, because they didn't really have to pull out the bag to play the Cowboys, did they? Dallas always beat Dallas. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know that about Wisconsin being the cheese state, being the dairy state. So thanks coming in here and educating me. I was this many years old when I found out that. It's like finding out that, Mary had a little lamb. She also had a bear. I've often seen her little lamb. I've never seen her bear. It's like finding out something like that. So the best cheese, I think we're going with Double Gloucester. I think the Americans obviously think that Green Bay and their cheesesteak thing is rather important to them, but we have already agreed that if cheese comes out of a can or any food, it is not food. So, we beat them with a Double Gloucester. Yeah. And then earlier on in the chat, we'll round out the chat now. Velcro or buttons? I think that's an important question as well. And I think buttons are clearly the answer. Velcro is a lot of fun. I mean, it came out of the space race. It's a nice idea. But buttons, they're classic. You can have shiny buttons. You can have proper, like, cuffling buttons. Buttons, you can go to town on buttons. Buttons is also a chocolate, which is delicious. And buttons is in Cinderella as well, right? So there's loads of different types of buttons, and they're all lovely. But Velcro is a nice idea, but when you get it stuck in your pubes, it's definitely not a good idea. Third option, belt loops. Yeah, that is a third option. Velcro was rubbish in pantomime. I know, Stylus, right? Yeah, buttons was much better than Velcro in the pantomime. Buttons, have you ever had Velcro go through the wash? It's like a demon got thrown in with the clothes. What was that? It was Mr. Lackey. Smart lad, I saw you reading what I typed but strategically decided not to engage. Now you've made me go back up there. I know you hate politics, but do you happen to know our Lord and Saviour Sargon of Akkad personally? No, I don't. I am aware he's in Swindon. I have bumped into him in the Games Workshop. It's just politics and religion. I try and stay away from that for the purposes of entertainment. Velcro with accessory buttons is so fashionable but convenient with the Velcro. As long as no one presses the button, we're all okay. Velcro Wallach shudders. I think that's a nice, smooth way to smooth out this thing, because I've said it so many times. 2 hours. I don't think I've done a live stream that is 2 hours long. So we're at the 2 hour mark. I like to keep them around an hour. But I didn't get to ask the difficult questions until after an hour in, because I was talking with you guys. You kept me entertained for a good hour before I actually came onto the subject. This was a good live stream. You're chatting a long time. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you, fam. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're chatting, the fact that you watch the videos, all my lovely members who keep supporting me, awesome. Awesome. And it's the least I can do to try and sit down and talk to you at least once a week, every week. As I've said before, Talkie Tuesdays are a thing, and the Talkie Tuesdays where I'm not talking will be an STC podcast instead. And the reason why the STC podcast hasn't happened for a while is because Warsmith Chris is now officially a daddy. Yes, he is hatched. He has given birth to a hatchling. It was very painful. Mummy's okay as well. But when it comes to mummies and daddies and hatchlings, let's face it, I think daddies do all the work. Women just have to lie there and then all of a sudden a baby appears. Daddies have to do all the fetching, all the carrying, all the back rubbing, do all the breathing exercises with them, all the stuff like that. I think it's mainly men who give birth, basically. So congratulations. Congratulations in the chat to Warsmith Chris. I'll send him on your love and the things. Christian Kopang, thank you for being a 12 months member. Time for an impromptu 24-hour stream. We're in our 10th year. It's August 2024. It would be 10 years of Winter's SEO. And 2024, I started doing this in 2014. So we're in our 10th this year of where we are. And I was thinking I have to do something special in August for the 10th year anniversary. Maybe not a 24-hour live stream. Maybe a 4-hour live. I don't know. Comments in the section below as well. Like, what should I do for the 10-year anniversary of the baby? But yeah, baby. But oh dear. Yeah, he's had a hatchling. So I don't know when next we're doing an STC, if you're wondering where he is. But congratulations to Warsmith Chris. Don't let our wife hear this. Why? It's the truth, right? It's just, they just lie there and people bring them teas. They take, these days, they can do it in a bath. They can take, drugs? So they're like, just take it out, you know. I think you can grow them in tubes now, test tubes, babies, can't you? You can like, here's the thing and here's the thing, smash it together, stick it under UV lights for 2 weeks, make sure you water it every other day and put a bit of nitrogen on it, and boom, there you have a baby. I'm fairly certain you can grow them out of test tubes now. They're not complicated. People have been doing them for a long time. Babies are like, I mean, I've seen kittens being born. I haven't seen a born, but I've seen, and the cat is like, boom, one after the other, like dropping bombs. It can't be that difficult for women, really, can it? So anyway, 10-hour, great idea. Play with the entire 13th versus Paul's Orcs. Don't do drugs, Winters, unless you really want to. Babies come from the resin printers. Yeah, if the Emperor managed it 20 times, I'm sure it's not too hard, right? He gave birth. The Emperor is a man. He gave birth 20 times. See? Can be done. Yeah. Anyway, it's been glorious this evening and I've had fun. Thank you for all your love and support, and thank you to all my members and subscribers. I really appreciate you. Thank you to everyone who stopped by in the chat. And I've got to press that one. See, I still haven't got the wrap up of this thing. And press that one. I broke the button on the thing, so I've got to press two things and make sure that happens at the same time. And beforehand, before I broke the button, I just pressed the button and it would end. But now we've got this whole faffy thing going on here. So stand by. We are leaving in 3, 2, happy wargaming.